All right, what is going on, everyone? First and foremost, I want to say thank you for being here right now watching this video. I do really appreciate you for your time, and I'd really appreciate if you do consider subscribing, because it truly does help me out a lot. Now, man, it's finally over, bro. We all used to see Jake Paul everywhere, no matter what. Even if we didn't want to see him or not, bro, he would always pop up somewhere on our feed, whether it's that's Instagram, Twitter. No matter what, we would always see him. People would always talk about him, talk about his boxing matches and things like that. Now it's just like, bro, nobody cares about him anymore. You know what I mean? Like his last fight, for example, he's fighting nobody cares, bro. It's not like he's fighting retired UFC fighters anymore. You know what I mean? People who actually had a name. He's fighting complete nobodies at this point. Complete nobodies with no reputation whatsoever. Nobody knows them, and he's just paying them, putting a paycheck in their face like, hey, you have no choice but to take this money, because you don't have anything really going on for yourself at the moment. So take this money, box me, lose the fight, and I win. It's really that simple. But without further ado, man, let's just play the video.
Since the whole influencer boxing thing was really at its inception, with Logan Paul fighting KSI and his little brother Jake beating up on Deji. Since then, most of these guys have done these boxing events as more of a side gig, where they really lock in for a couple of months in anticipation of the event, but for the most part are still mainly focused on their brand or their business, or really being more of an influencer. But a couple of these YouTubers have leaned all the way into the boxing.
And I'm not gonna lie, sorry for the pause, but like, bro, nowadays I never see Prime anymore. You know what I mean? Prime has been getting exposed for not doing what it's actually supposed to do. You know what I mean? So it's been getting exposed, and I haven't been seeing it anymore. You know, when Logan Paul and Jake Paul and KSI were on top of the world, boxing everyone, and everybody were talking about them, everybody would be talking about Prime. You know what I mean? You see Prime sponsorships everywhere. Me personally, I don't see them anymore, and it's just like, oh man, it's a relief. But let's keep going.
Lifestyle, like this dude Salt Poppy, Gib, and most infamously, Jake Paul.
And all I wanted to do was give y'all a knockout for Christmas.
And for a while, it was great to see him bounce these dudes off the canvas. But after the Tommy Fury fight, the excitement just has not been there, as Jake had now been defeated and his haters had their quench for his failure met. Since then, he has beat up on and knocked people out, but there was really no buzz behind those events. Most recently, he fought this last weekend, and no one cared or really even knew what was going on in the first place. In his defense, he was the co-main event here, at least he was supposed to be. His friend Amanda Serrano was supposed to be the real main event, seeing that she is from Puerto Rico herself, where the entire thing went down, but she had some sort of issue with her eye at the very last second and had to scratch herself out. So in turn, Jake became the real main event, and in the end, he got the TKO against this dude who looked like he could be your accountant. In all reality, he was a good boxer back in the day. His name is Ryan Borland, and he used to be a Gold Glove winner. But he's now 35 and has only fought once in the last 6 years, apparently completely changing his occupation during that time span. Now, before the fight, they had apparently ran this little news story on Ryan Borland.
Borland is originally from the Bay Area.
And like I said, man, like, bro hasn't he's only boxed one time in 6 years, bro, and he found other things to do. And it's just like Jake Paul just found this guy. I don't know where he found this guy, but he just found him threw money in his face, and it's just like, most likely his family supported his decision, be like, okay, this is the best thing to do. It's a lot of money. All you gotta do is box him. And even though you're getting up there in age and you haven't boxed in 6 years, you're gonna have to take this fight, and you're most likely, even if it's a loss, it doesn't matter. You're still getting paid. So it's just like, okay, take this fight, lose, get the paycheck, and support your family. So I don't know, man. That's most likely the case, but let's keep going.
Of California, but decided to come out to North Dakota 5 years ago to work in the oil industry.
I'm happy to get in. I'm taking it really, really serious. It's never really a boring fight when I fight. I'm always in shape and I'm always ready to fight.
Now obviously people are not exactly impressed with this training footage. I mean, I'm not saying he was like neon on the pads, but it's pretty clear this man is far past his prime. So of course a lot of people came in saying, well, when is Jake gonna fight a real boxer? But you did have some people defending him, like this man, who says, I don't like Jake Paul at all, but the level of competition he's fighting is normal for 90% of boxers starting out. Y'all know this, but just hate him so much to admit it. And even in watching the pre-promotion for this fight, looking back, you can see why it pretty much had no hype, and why no one knew about this, because none of these clips went viral at all. Jake brought back the whole gotcha hat bit that he had done to Floyd Mayweather.
No love lost here between these two. Cruiserweight fight. Once again, Jake Paul has someone's hat.
Y'all know how I feel about hat thievery, taking someone's hat off their head. I just find it to be very disrespectful. You don't touch another man's hat. He even tried to troll him and his name before the event.
I have a question. Like, what is the Rhino? Like, how did you come up with that nickname?
My grandpa gave it to me when I was younger.
Awkward. I mean, you bring out the grandpa story and it's really all over. Like someone's looking to make fun of you about something and they end up just looking like a serious asshole.
Are you vegan like rhinos?
No, I was pretty tough and strong as a kid, so my grandpa gave it to me.
That's what's up, bro. Congrats. Fire nickname. Do you realize that rhinos are land animals?
So yes, the promotional material for this fight was like putting some completely mild salsa on some chips. Just get that shit out of here, it ain't spicy enough. Still, Jake tried to get the crowd hyped.
Fuck the rhino. Getting tired of these dumbass rhinos walking around this motherfucking island. Tomorrow, the rhinos are going extinct.
I mean, Jake Paul might be the first influencer to get CTE. And like I said, this thing was over before it started. The entire fight would last around 2.5 minutes, with Jake getting the win at the end of the first round. Like, it might have looked like he dominated him on paper because the guy wasn't really punching back, but he was pretty much an immobile target, and Jake was still missing a lot of his punches. Here's an alternate angle of the end of this fight.
And the whole funny thing about this is, in the like post-fight press conference and whatnot, Jake Paul was actually pretty disappointed at himself, because it's just like, bro, he knows himself that he has to fight an actual good opponent. Like, this was nothing, bro. And he was just like, he has to find someone else to really test his skills and things like that, because he knows, personally, he knows it's getting sad at this point, man. Like, he has to fight someone actually good. He can't keep fighting old people who only boxed once in 6 years. Like bro, he knows it's sad, but let's keep going.
I mean, honestly, the Rhino really had no business going into there in the first place. But shout out to him, man. He went in there, he took the beat down, and he collected what was very likely a very nice check. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't trust this dude in like a bar fight, but if you show up to fight someone who has been training for the last 6 years, who is 10 years younger than you, you're probably gonna get the beats. Some people commented how in the post-fight interview, Jake sounded pretty fucked up.
Yeah, man, you know, I just like to meditate and breathe. Realistically, nothing can stop me here, not even a rhino.
I mean, he looks like he's about ready to give that man Ariel a smooch on the lips. And honestly, if anyone truly has CTE here, it might be this guy Ryan.
I'll be rooting for you the rest of your career,
Thank you, bro.
man.
I really appreciate that. We'll be rooting for you too, bro.
Hey, we'll
Congrats,
bring
man.
in for training for his next fight, huh?
Hey, sounds good. Sounds good.
Appreciate
Good job,
you, my man.
And shout out to this man Ryan, bro. He really does seem like a good guy. Of course, Dylan Dan has had to step in to try and give his 2 cents. He says there's someone in Puerto Rico right now wondering why their Uber driver is taking so long. And to me, it's just like, dude, Dylan, at this point, just get the fuck off the internet. He keeps trying to come back, okay? It's like his pass has been revoked. He can't get in. He had his chance at redemption. He had his chance to go on and continue fighting and be taken seriously as a competitor, and he completely blew it. This guy made a complete ass of himself.
Facts, bro. And it's not only that, but like, bro, his card to the UFC basically got denied, bro. Like, he tried to get into the UFC, they wouldn't let him in the UFC. And it's just like, bro, they're not, you're done, you know, you're cooked. Dillon Danis is absolutely cooked. They're not letting him in, they're not letting him in the UFC, if you get what I mean. Like, pretty sure Logan Paul is partnered with the UFC, so even if Dillon Danis did want to, you know, come to the UFC and make his debut, it wouldn't really happen, bro. It wouldn't happen, man, because, you know, the amount of disrespect he put on Logan Paul is insane, you know, just to sell a fight. But at the end of the day, man, it's not gonna happen. Logan Paul is partnered with the UFC, and he's very close to Dana White, so yeah, man, it's basically no coming back for Dillon Danis. Even if he boxed right now, bro, nobody would watch it, because it's like, bro, who are you even boxing? You got humiliated by Logan Paul. It's over for you. If it was the UFC, most likely people would watch him, bro. I'm gonna end the video here. Let me know what you guys think, and subscribe for more content, man. Peace out.